In the summer of 1964, Clarence Brandenburg held a KKK rally at a farm in rural Hamilton County, Ohio. He invited a local news reporter to film the rally, which featured racist speech, the burning of a cross, and a threat to march upon Washington if the expulsion of African Americans and Jews did not take place. Brandenburg was convicted under an Ohio criminal syndicalism law, which banned the advocacy of doctrines of crime, sabotage, or terrorism to achieve a political purpose. He was fined $1,000 and sentenced to 1 to 10 years in prison. Brandenburg appealed to the Ohio First District Court, which upheld his conviction, and then to the Ohio Supreme Court, which declined to offer an opinion on his case. Finally, in 1969, the U.S. Supreme Court granted him certiorari in what would become a landmark case, offering unprecedented protection to the freedom of speech. In Brandenburg v. Ohio, one fundamental question was raised. Did Brandenburg's conviction under the Ohio criminal syndicalism law violate his freedom of speech? The answer? Yes. In a unanimous vote, the court ruled that the Ohio law was unconstitutional because it failed to differentiate between speech that abstractly advocated for violence, or imminent lawlessness, and speech that would actually lead to violence. After 5 long years, Brandenburg had finally won his case. But Brandenburg v. Ohio did much more than just guarantee protection for some KKK rallies. It established the Brandenburg test, also known as the imminent lawless action test, to determine whether or not a piece of speech is protected under the Constitution. For speech to be constitutionally suppressed, it must have intent, imminence, and likelihood. First, the speech must be intended to incite violent action. Second, the violent action in question must be imminent or about to happen in the near future. Third, the violent action the speech promotes must be likely to happen. Thus, Brandenburg v. Ohio has made it much more difficult to convict people of inflammatory speech promoting violence. In another case in 1992, RIV v. St. Paul, an African American couple from Minnesota awoke one night to find a burning cross in their front yard. The U.S. Supreme Court ruled that the burning cross and other symbols of hateful racism were protected under the First Amendment because they did not violate the Brandenburg test. There is no doubt that Brandenburg v. Ohio constituted a victory for the freedom of speech. But whether or not the speech that it protects is of value is still up for debate.